Alrighty then. Welcome everyone to the much anticipated, not too long overdue session 2 of Vampire the Masquerade Out of the Darkness, a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition actual play run by myself, 3 British dudes, and some random Eastern European guy. But with that being said, we're going to go around the table, have everyone reintroduce themselves, tell us who they're playing, and then we're going to have a very quick and concise recap from myself about what transpired last session. And we're going to pick up right where we left off with a certain top hat wearing cult leader? Question mark?
Yeah. Oh, there's no. I'd give it an
Openly.
explanation.
Yeah,
No,
there's no. I mean,
maybe,
that's
just
exactly
yes.
what it is. That is exactly what it is. That's beautiful. So let's go around. Jamie, Stefan, Stefan. I don't know. We're gonna go to you, Eastern European guy, Harry, and Steve. Take it away, gentlemen.
Cool. Hi, I am Jamie, and I am playing Peter O'Burs, the City landlord.
Hello, I am Stefan. I'm playing Ada Montfort, the formerly detached from reality, caitiff.
Harry.
I'm Harry. I'm playing Theodore Dashwood, the former wizard, still wizard, mysticist, cult leading, top hat wearing Egypt.
I like it.
Hi, I'm Steve, playing Bertie Manteldwat. He is a friend of the cats and also a friend of Megan. Friend of many people. Or is he? I'm sure he was.
And of course, I am Dare Wolf. I'm everybody else, everyone, constantly, which is glorious.
God.
And our last session, though, the events of roughly a 45-minute time period. A thin blood woman showed up seeking refuge. She was apparently being followed by some strange. They were described as ghouls, but I want to be very clear that the vampire Harry, Theo, actual Harry is a vampire, Theodore, never confirmed who or what they were. He simply threw a red Bic stapler at them, which apparently they're going to be buying more staplers because they make great improvised weapons. Long story short, her blood was drawn, test was done on it, and it was like nothing any of you had ever seen. So logically, the best idea at that point was to knock that vial of dark blood, black, weird, tarish blood right back. And it tasted, for the first time in a long time, Theodore, it tasted like coffee. A little bit like Turkish coffee, so a little bit of grounds in it because it was a little chunky. Like a Turkish coffee, right? It was very strong. And then all you remember, Theodore, was dropping into the worst possible blood rage you have ever experienced in your entire life. It was as though you were hunger and hunger was you and there was nothing else. To everyone else inside of the office, your carpet, Peter, is completely ruined. You will definitely have to get it replaced. First, the tablet did the thing it did. It's bleeding again. I'm glad that that's canon. Secondly, now there was a little bit more blood on the table. And now finally, thirdly, we've got Theodore bleeding from his eyes, his nose, his ears, his fangs extended almost double to their normal length, him howling at the sky like some sort of mangy werewolf, just ah. And then all at once, he drops to the floor and begins to convulse. What do the rest of you do?
I don't think that is normal, Mr. Peter.
Responding quickly, Alina rushes over to Theodore's side, trying to hold him still, and shoots a angry look over at Stefan and says, "You don't fucking say!" And then trying to hold him still.
As a person beyond the table, not Adam.
Right. Adam,
Yes.
help the girl.
All right.
Cheers.
All right, Master. I just go and help her. Keep him.
Is there a like, I don't know, small? I'm assuming that your scientific paraphernalia in the behind Alina has got like a small jugs and beakers and vials and all that sort of stuff.
Sure.
Bertie will go and grab one of the beakers and like start scooping up some of the blood that Harry is bleeding out.
Okay. So what you notice as you get close to him is that Theodore's flesh, it's starting to look dry, cracked, and brittle. I want you to imagine like Raiders of the Lost Ark when they open it up and all their skin like melts away and starts to sink in. It looks just like that. It looks like he is incredibly, wholly and completely dehydrated, for lack of a better term. And it is getting worse quickly. Theodore, you are having the most wonderful, intoxicating dream that you have ever had in your entire life. You hear and see nothing around you is currently actually happening in reality. What you see instead is you awaken. You are lying in the sun in a beautiful midday, high noon, rolling field filled with beautiful weeping willows. There are birds, there are bees, and down the hill, roughly 100 feet from you, a small pool of glistening clear water, and arising up out of it is one of the most beautiful women you've ever seen in your entire life. There is something intoxicating about her mere gaze towards you. Curious, in this dream, what do you do, Theodore?
Well, I'll pick myself up, dust myself off, sort of adjust my tie, I'm assuming I'm still wearing my regular clothes, and just start strolling down towards the pool.
The closer
Good
you
day,
get,
young woman.
10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet down, 30 feet, you're about halfway down. As you're about halfway down, you see that the pool is not a crystal clear, beautiful pool of water. It is instead, in fact, a pool of crimson red blood, and you're not exactly sure why it looked clear before. And that same woman who was completely naked, beautiful, just gorgeous woman, whoever that is for you in your mind, is now covered, completely drenched in blood. There is viscera, ichor, there are chunks of flesh on her face, and she is smiling with two long, similar to the way I described your fangs, long fangs. She speaks to you. She speaks to you in an ancient language that you recognize but don't readily understand. It's an ancient vampiric language. I'm talking thousands of years old. Really, really old language. What skills do you have that you think you could use to try and translate or interpret what she's saying to you?
Sorry, one sec.
Good, baby bird.
It won't go back to the front page where all my skills are. But I'm pretty sure I have... It would be knowledge, wouldn't it? Try again.
You're good.
Here we
bud.
go. The intelligence, and I've got academics in ancient history,
Ancient
or
history.
potentially occult if it's
Let's go ancient history. Just ancient vampiric history at its
Ooh,
finest.
I've got a specialization in nodism.
I'll take it.
Cool. So I'll be occult at 9.
By the way, I need you to roll with 4 hunger dice.
Cool. Am I still feeling hungry in my dream?
Oh yeah. Starved. You see all that
Skin.
blood and you like are struggling not to plunge face first into it and swim in it like it's a pool.
How do I include the +1 for a speciality?
It should be in the dialogue. If you keep going, there should be like you choose which attribute it is, and then you
Lovely.
choose a modifier.
Oh, what's my difficulty?
3. Is that 8 successes?
It is 8 successes.
Damn.
Mother of God. Well,
But some of them were on hunger dice, so it is a
That's-
messy critical.
that is a messy critical. So you instantaneously understand what she is saying. And what she says to you is the following. You have drank of my blood, so we are as one. Now you must feast of my flesh. Come, take, ravage me as is our way. We're going to fade to black here a little bit, but you are going to be compelled to rush forward, sink your teeth and other things into this gorgeous woman as you both fall back into the pool. I want you to imagine those scenes where like someone falls into the water in a movie and it like pivots so you can see it from the side angle. That's you both plunging into the pool of blood. You can see trails of the different colored blood and ichor. You can see your fangs sunk into her neck. And we're going to pivot back away from that to reality. What's everyone doing in reality?
So
What
you
is-
said
what
you
is
said
Theodore
that
doing in reality?
no, you gone.
Say again?
What is Theodore doing in reality?
He is just lying there, twitching slightly. That's all.
No, you go, Steve.
Making slightly awkward moaning sounds.
I
hate it.
we know that he's got a small cult at the apartment at the end of the hall, don't we?
Correct.
That he would normally feed on.
Correct.
Bertie's probably gonna he's gonna turn to Peter and suggest that Peter goes and gets one of his cultists. Looks like he's mighty hungry and he's dehydrated.
Yeah. All right, Bertie. You two keep near. And I will head down the hallway to where some of his cult live, or down to whichever floor it's on. I will knock on the door. Well, I'll pound on the door.
You have the cult members answer. They look disappointed when they see you rather than Theodore.
I need 2 faithful. Your boss is upstairs.
2 of them like push each other out of the way, rushing forward and quickly follow you upstairs, where they see their glorious leader on the floor. Both of them pull down their shirt collars, rush over, pushing each other out of the way. The smaller, actually, of the 2, a man of maybe early 20s, but he looks very gaunt, as it were. But he manages to trip the other one, the taller of the 2, rushes over, and as soon as he is within 6 inches of Theodore, you see a Theodore lunge forward, grab onto him, and begin to drain him And as you drain him, the man does not moan in ecstasy, but in pain and terror as his eyes go wide. Blood splatters all over. It is a messy, messy, disgusting feeding. And in just a few moments, the man is dead next to him, completely sanguinated. Theodore, you may reset your hunger dice down to 1.
If he's killed, it would be 0.
Actually 0. Excuse me. 0. Forgive me. 0. That's what I said. That's what I said.
Yeah,
Try to
that's what
prove
it's-
otherwise. That's what I said. You may set your hunger dice to 0, and you shoot up. You are feeling. You're actually feeling a bit afraid right now. The man that you drained completely was filled with true unadulterated fear. And so you awaken, Theo, and you are shaking, not convulsing like you were, but shaking out of this sort of instinctual kind of fear. You remember bits and pieces of this dream. The most poignant part of the dream that you recall is the taste of that blood, taste of that woman's flesh. It was the most delicious, most sweetest, most savory, everything that you vaguely at this point remember about eating as a human. It was like
The
that.
most umami.
It was like that, but your mom's best home cooking. You're sick. Chicken noodle soup. It was delicious. I don't know what do Brits eat. They eat chicken noodle soup.
Sure.
We've been known
All right,
to.
whatever. I don't know. It's just shrimp on the bobby. It was good. It was really good. All right, really good.
That's our most famous export.
I don't know.
Oh,
Bloody hell. Oh, God. Where am I?
welcome back, Mr. Theodore.
That was bloody delicious.
Um,
Is there any left?
I mean, he's dead on the floor, so I don't think
Oh,
there is.
God. Randolph. Randolph?
Randolph is dead.
Gives him a swift boot in the ribs.
You killed Randolph, who was Randy's brother. Randy's brother is like cowering in the corner of the room, looks a little afraid, and is kind of muttering, "He's just sleeping, right? He's just sleeping, right?"
I'll reach down and pick up his hand and let go of it.
Thud,
I'll try it one more time
thud.
and a third time.
It kind of
No,
goes
I-
down, twitches for a second, and then thud.
No, I'd say he's dead. He was part of the pension plan, wasn't he?
That was really funny, Harry.
He was
That's
paying
really
rent, that's
good.
what he was.
The blood.
That was fucking hilarious, dude.
Oh.
10 out of 10, man.
It's a dangerous cult. There's got to be some perks.
Oh yeah, there is a pension.
Dental?
Well, I suppose it'd be best if you got him out of here, Randy. Get one of the other lads.
Full medical, dental, and vision.
Where do I sign up?
Honestly.
I'll send Randy on his way to go get someone to help him deal with his dead brother.
Randy like goes to move towards his brother, but then sees you just covered in blood and turns and then leaves instead to go grab someone to help.
Oh, well, that was awkward.
Why, Mr. Theodore, why the hell did you think it was a good idea to drink the mystery black blood?
We're vampires.
Yes, but we drink normal blood, not
He's got a
mystery
point.
black blood.
All right, Theo, sit in that chair. I'm gonna have my girl draw your blood. See if you're all right.
But Bertie will offer a beaker of the blood that he's been scooping off of the floor as it came out of Theo.
It's
maybe
already
one step
starting to
ahead of
congeal.
you.
So the the original plan, it wasn't just it wasn't just stupidity and for drama's sake that I drank the blood. I do have a blood ritual source, a blood sorcery ritual called a taste for blood. So I was going to try and ascertain some basic details from the blood.
Yeah.
If that will.
Makes
I
sense.
would now. Is that a roll you have to make? This is a question because I'm not exactly sure how it works.
Resolve plus blood sorcery
Mhm.
with a difficulty of 3.
Roll them bones.
With a win, the user can determine the resonance and intensity of the blood if human. They can also identify. Oh god, there's a lot of text here.
You want to just post that to me, or is it in your? Is it in your character sheet?
It is, yeah. It's
pull it
in the
up.
system section.
I'm gonna pull it up.
Resolve plus blood sorcery. I don't think this is going to do much for me on reflection, other than tell me who it belongs to. And we already know who it belongs to.
What
Oh,
Do we, though?
might be important.
Dude. Oh.
Bertie will raise aloft this beaker of congealing blood and say, well, Peter, I suggest that maybe Alina might want to take a look at this, from the well, person's veins directly, I guess, at the time of ingestion.
Alina takes a vial of blood, begins to test it. But Theodore, why don't you roll your blood sorcery check, please?
I'm trying to work out how. Like, it's down in the disciplines. How do I roll a discipline?
There's a little diamondy type thing at the top of your
Ah.
discipline. And then it gives you a pop-up underneath that, and then you pick the attributes.
Sorry. Might be here a while.
Why don't you just roll 1, 2, 3. Or what's your intelligence? 3.
I can't seem to add. Oh, there it is. I've nearly worked it out.
Oh,
Here
there's
we
a little
go.
button that clicks. You said roll right there. Yeah. Little roll button.
It was getting everything right in the little drop-down menu I was having a bit of trouble with.
I respect it.
There we go.
Oh
dear.
damn!
No,
That's
that's
unfortunate. That is unfortunate. Let's see here.
I think this blood is hers.
That's
Yes, great
genuinely
observation.
That's genuinely disappointing. I was kind of hoping you succeed, but that's okay. Yeah, you're not sure. It still tastes like coffee.
You're a coffee man, aren't you, Richard?
Peter.
Peter. Oh, sorry. You're a coffee man, aren't you,
Yeah.
Peter? Don't know where
Yeah.
Richard came from.
Yeah.
You should try some. It's delicious.
What trust over the black blood?
Mm.
I want to have a sniff of the this kind of empty vial, and see if it reminds me of anything from my from my early unlife.
Early unlife?
Yeah. So Peter was, of course, brought up by an infernalist.
What it reminds you of, the scent, the aroma, sort of viscous nature, tarry kind of nature of it, was when was a gentleman that brought you up, like to experiment by binding things together. Different blood, different species, different immortals and mortals. And there's something about it's definitely not, which is funny to say, since I mean vampires by nature are unnatural, right? Definitely not natural. This is in some way manufactured. Could be magic, blood magic, could be advanced science, where you're not sure, but it reminds you of when he experimented. And usually those experiments didn't go well. That's what it reminds you of.
He was an horrible bastard. But this just means that girl's much more important. Peter's going to make a mental note to actually buy like a proper lock for that room.
Proper lock.
Proper lock.
She's not a guest anymore. She's a prisoner.
Wow. It's a sliding scale, you know.
Welcome to Hotel Peterfornia. Such a lovely place. Such a lovely place.
It's for our own protection, after all.
Living in up in the hotel.
Yeah.
Funny to me too.
Peter's gonna recap the bottle and just kind of slip it into the desk drawer.
Do I remember what the woman looked like in my little dream?
You do. You remember what she looked like.
And in the months that I've been staying here, have I also seen the woman that lives in the lift, the spooky ghost vampire woman?
You have not.
Ah, right.
Uh,
I shall not metagame.
But what I'll do is I will post an image of what she looks like in our Discord server under the coterie. Super sorry in advance, it's a little graphic,
Oof.
but it's a good one.
I saw that in the lift. Jesus.
Yeah, that's what you saw on the left. To describe it to our viewers at home, it is a woman. She is completely naked. She is completely covered in blood. She has black hair that looks to be kind of slicked back. It is long. It falls down the back of her, down her back, and she has a very blank, sort of expressionless stare forward.
Did Peter tell anybody else what he smelt?
Dead.
I wouldn't have.
Would he have said that it reminds him of his childhood or something like that? Or would he have just gone, oh, that's interesting?
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't know you guys very well. You know, this is quite personal. But what he will say is, we need to find that fucking nightclub. We need to find it quickly.
Hmm.
Whoever this girl is, she's important.
Is she still around?
Yeah, I got her a room.
Grand. Have we asked her about what the hell's going on with her blood?
I asked her a
I
few
don't-
questions, but she didn't have much to say. She's still quite, you know, cut up about the whole thing.
She's quite new to this vampire thing. I doubt that even she would know about her own blood at this point.
Bertie will kind of be looking at the corpse, which I'm assuming is still on the floor, and
Yeah.
looking at the blood and the
Yeah.
scientific apparatus that Alina's working on in the background.
Feel free.
Well, she may not know if she knows or not, but there is no harm in asking. Of course, any information that she has may be important. She just doesn't know it. He'll then sort of abruptly sort of drift off and leave the room and head off back to his own room, just leaving all of the rest of it all there.
Bertie. She's in room 23.
He will pull out his little A6 notebook and wave it above his head and sort of left turn and head down the corridor.
On the right.
Peter. Peter, I'm terribly sorry about the carpet, old bean.
Completely ruined.
That's
Like,
all right. It's not.
You're gonna have
It's
to
not
probably
the
rip
first
up
time
the
I've had.
subflooring, by the way. It's bad.
That's not the first time I've had kindred blood on this floor.
Mm-hmm. You definitely didn't. No,
Yeah,
okay.
it's a nightmare to get out. I'm starting to think that perhaps this young woman and the three awful ghoul fellows I had to deal with outside could be related.
Well, they definitely are. I had to ask Theodore, how did you feel when you were down on the floor? What did it feel like? Did you have anything special happen to you, or?
Bloody fantastic. First of all, that blood, primo, delicious. Taste of the finest coffee I've ever drunk. Reminds me of one time I was
Coffee?
out in. Yes,
Coffee.
yes. Reminds me when I was out in Turkey with with the cult. They've been around quite a long time, you see.
Yeah.
Then after that, that's when it really kicked in. Had this wicked hallucination about this absolutely fine young woman. Obviously, things went the way they do when you're around someone like myself.
Was she by any chance a kindred?
Yes, yes, massive teeth, absolutely massive pair of teeth on that woman.
But we don't need to hear about all the details of your blood tree.
Well, that is interesting. Apparently, I saw her actually. I may have saw her today in the lift when it dropped me 2 floors, and it was an interesting experience. She was probably covered in blood, pretty much, with
Oh yes,
all the
absolutely
glue on her
drenched.
face. Okay, so
You saw her in the lift?
yep, I went down the lift to get Miss Chloe. The lift didn't work. Originally wanted to go to the stairs and then went back after the lift fixed itself. It dropped 2 floors and I saw her in the back mirror of the lift.
Right, well. Do you have any mirrors in your office?
No.
Fair enough. Well, the lift, you say? I
Mhm.
suppose I'll be off then, and I'll turn to go to go to the lift, see if I can get round 2 with this delightful kindred lady.
Theo, it's your mess. Take it away.
I sent
Yeah.
Randy. I said he'll be back in a minute with probably Cyril. He's quite a big lad. They'll get rid of him. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Cyril shows up. Randy.
Excellent.
Randy's crying about his brother.
He's in a better place. You know how the cult works. Get him incinerated or something.
He's gone to retirement, right, sir? He's got full benefits.
That's right, the big old retirement in the sky.
Way too many times being glamour, just like yay. Horrible. So Bertie's left. Theodore's leaving. The body's being taken away. Adam, what are you doing?
What do you make of this, Mr. Peter? Overall, this whole mess.
I don't like it. I didn't like it when all those strings were pulled to get that fucking bleeding slab in here. I don't like it anymore now.
A lot of things just happened. The ghouls, the club, Miss Chloe's blood. Probably gonna happen a lot more now, unfortunately.
I fought through one more, lad.
Mm.
Done fighting.
All right. Do you have a plan for the club? But if are we actually going to ask Miss Chloe tonight?
We shall talk to Bertie. And yeah, otherwise we'll give her the night.
I might have some things that I can do about 3 ghouls. I do know who have a very, very, very strong inkling on who they're related to. I just need to go somewhere tonight at my former current boss, Gustav's club. He will probably be able to cook up something, or his associate that he left there.
All right. I'll have to chat with some of my old war buddies. See if there's anything on the Sabat grapevine.
The night just got longer, and he bids farewell and leaves too.
Adam leaves. You can look over, Peter, and you see that your child, Alina, has been waiting for everyone to leave. You noticed a couple of minutes ago the experiment was done, and usually when it's done, she'll walk over, give you results right away. But she waited. She waited. She just let everyone leave, and she has that look on her face, Peter, when she wants to say something, but she knows you're probably going to get mad at her if you say it. So she's hesitating to say it, but she knows she needs to say it. So she's waiting for you to give her permission.
Come on, girl. Out with it. What you got?
His blood is human.
No.
She shrugs. I knew you weren't going to like it. But his blood is 100% human. You saw him. You saw him bite that man, drain him dry. But when I drew the blood from him, it came back as human.
This stinks. I want you to go away, do some research on this. I don't like any of this. I don't know enough about it to make any decisions. So I'm relying on you. Go find out what the fuck this is all about. This one, this shit, and the girl.
He starts to protest, and her protest is, Peter, I don't even know where to. As you press in on her, she retreats back, stops. I'll make it happen. Find out what the fuck's going on. I'll let you know as soon as.
If you need anything paying for, just tell me. I'll do it.
This isn't good, Peter. And as the two of you part ways, we're gonna follow Birdie. Follow Birdie. Where's Birdie going? Gonna look for the cat?
No, he's going to apartment 23, I think it was.
You're at
He's got
apartment.
it jotted down in his little notebook.
You're
It's
at
23.
apartment 23. Door is locked. You can
He-
actually
He's
hear.
just going to knock on the door.
Yeah. You hear a little bit of like quiet, like indie punk rock music. It's not being blasted, but like quiet indie punk rock. Yeah. All the small things, true care, truth brings. Not even, it was indie back then, right? It's fun. It's not indie now. But yeah, you hear some music playing. But not too loud. She's being respectful. You knock once, twice, 3 times. She doesn't answer.
He's going to innocently just kind of knock again and say, Miss Fairchild?
Music suddenly cuts off. Hear some heavy footfalls behind the door. Hear someone grab the handle but not turn it. It just kind of jiggles. And you hear her voice muffled from behind the door. Who's there? What do you want?
Miss Fairchild, it's Bertie. May I come in?
Bertie? Wait, weren't you the weird one going on
It's
about...
okay, I found my pen now.
I'd really not have company right now. What is it that you want?
I just want to talk, really. I'm sure that you might be a little bit unnerved by, well, this whole evening's events.
You hear the door handles start to turn, so there's that kind of scraping noise as the catch sliding, but then it snaps back. She seems to change her mind. We can talk through the door. And you hear what sounds like her putting her back against the door, and you can kind of hear her like slide down into a sitting position.
So I'd like to. I have subterfuge innocence. I'd like to just chat for a couple of minutes and put her at ease, and it'd be much easier if we did this face to face.
Difficulty 2, roll it. You're very unassuming. And you stake her.
Oh, Jesus.
When's the last time you fed Birdie?
When did I go and see? Probably a couple of days ago when I went to see Megan last. You would have found a nice sleeping homeless person somewhere in an alley.
3 hunger dice, please.
Oh, I'll re-roll that. That'll do.
That'll do. That'll do. You hear her stand up, go back and forth for a little bit. She asks you where you found your pen. Kind of small talks. Then you hear the door, a little chain slide, click, deadbolt, doorknob lock, and the door slowly opens, where it's just her face. Kind of like there's a wall. She's opened the door and she's just looking out, and she's eyeing you, suspiciously, nervously. She looks very tired, and you notice that she has streaks of red blood that looks like she's been crying. Crying tears of blood.
As she opens the door, he'll be like stood with a little notebook and pencil, but with a smile on his face. And then as he notices the blood, he'll kind of go a bit frowny face. Oh dear. Oh. Come on, put a pot of tea on, or what is in here? I've never been in here.
We even able to drink tea?
Well, I'm sure you could give it a go. It'll be fine. Come on, come on. You sit down. I'll put the kettle on, and it'll all be fine. You just sit there, and we'll tell me all about this whole thing.
So she's hesitant still. Finally opens the door, and as the door is most open, she's about 50% revealed. She looks you dead in the eye and says, "You're not some sort of weird creep or anything, are you?"
He'll kind of look himself up and down and go, I'm definitely what people would call a weird creep, but it's fine. I'm not one of those sorts of weird creeps.
Actually, a little bit of a smile out of her. She opens the door, welcomes you in. And it's a very sparsely set up room. Think of like a hotel room minus like a TV and a dresser, just like a bed, right? Because all of the money from Long Life Apartments goes into new carpet and subflooring constantly, and not fixing the elevator. Not fixing the elevator, right? So, lets you in. There are there is an old box of Lipton tea bags with 2 tea bags in it. There is a kettle. It's a little rusted. Probably hasn't been used in 10 years. And the tea bags are about 8 years out of date. Yes, tea does go bad. So, yeah. But you can give it the old college try, Birdie.
He'll go and crack on and start messing about and look in cupboards and find a presumably filthy cup, and swill it under a tap and go, "That'll do. I'm sure it'll be fine." While the kettle's boiling, he'll sit. Where did she go? He's
There's
just kind of
so I want
strolled
you to
in.
imagine there's like a little kitchenette, and then there's a little counter that moves into like it's half bedroom, half like living room area. Very small, right? And there's a little bar stool chair that she's sitting at the counter. So you're in the kitchen, the counter is separating the two of you. You can see her upper torso sitting across from you, and she's just watching you work.
So when he's messed about and he's put the kettle on and he's put the cup and put the tea bag in, he's kind of gone, "Yeah, he'll be fine. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine." And he'll then say, "So how did you end up here then? You were from the music? You did go to nightclubs or anything? Or
I ask you a question first.
okay, we can play that game. You're 1 for 1.
You like being what you are?
He'll flick back through his notebook and go, "Well, the answer's not in here. Well, I suppose so. I mean, well, well, good question. Do get a lot of good conversation from well, predominantly cats. Predominantly cats. My things do go missing an awful lot, though. I'm pretty sure that's also the cats, though."
Looks genuinely confused by these statements, but doesn't protest.
So what about you? Enjoying it much these days?
Which part should I enjoy? Part where the night after it happened, I woke up early in the morning, went outside, and my skin felt like it was on fire? The part where
Yes.
I'm
Not a morning person either, really.
constantly feel like there is a hole in my stomach that no matter how much I eat, never filled? Or how about the part where I can't ever go back to my family because of then her two fangs go kind of stick out because of these? Because I'm afraid of what I might do to them. How about the fact that I've sold myself into some sort of indentured servitude to the proprietor of this apartment complex for at least one night of respite, and now that I have it, I can't sleep. Because now I'm.
He'll look outside and go, "But it's daytime now for us, and got your family. I mean, evening visits. Bet your mum's a great cook."
Her eyes narrow at you, Bertie. She is a great cook. Just don't think I can eat. She cooks anymore. It's the other thing
Well, you
too.
do
Number
what I used.
five, maybe the fact that every time I smell food, every time I smell food, it makes me want to vomit. Yeah, what's not to like, right? And you see little pools of blood starting to well up in her eyes, and a single tear comes down her right cheek.
Bertie will reach into his little cardigan pocket and pull out a handful of tissues that have probably been there quite a while, and it kind of sprouts out of it with bits of torn up paper from his notebook and scraps from things that he was supposed to remember about weeks ago, but has completely forgotten because they went into that pocket, and hand her a couple of tissues.
She wipes her eyes. A half-hearted thank you. My turn.
Sorry, was that a no then? To that question.
Yes, it was a no.
Okay.
She smirks a little
No.
bit.
Bertie will write down no.
Can we be killed, Bertie?
He'll look outside again and go, well, the whole thing with the mornings, not a morning person myself.
Something less excruciatingly painful? A quicker way to do it?
Probably, but not found it myself.
Nods her head. Well, I'm sure you didn't come here to simply make small talk. You said you wanted to ask me something else. What is it?
He will put the little notebook and pencil down so she can probably see what he's been writing in the notebook. And it's got like random scribbles and like sentences that are half formed and the occasional word like no to a question that he's not written down. So when exactly did it happen? Where did it happen? Why did it happen? Who did it to you? Who? What? I think that's all of them.
When? 3-4 months ago? Nights start to blend together. Where? Outside of a nightclub. Underground nightclub. Who? I don't know. I never met them. They did whatever this is to me and then left me to figure it out on my own. What was the other question? Why, Bertie?
Do you know
Why was that?
why? He's going to look up and go, and kind of narrow his eyes and go, but why you?
I have no fucking idea. And I wish I did. And I wish I could find the bastard that did this to me and experiment on him and figure out how to fucking end it. Her tears have been replaced with a kind of fiery anger. And you notice that the countertop, she is gripping onto it and it is cracked. And what is interesting about that, Bertie, is that normally a thin blood vampire, a young vampire like this, they're strong. They shouldn't be able to grab like thick countertop and break it. She's got some strength. Maybe some uncharacteristically intense strength.
Bertie will like tap the top of her knuckles with his pencil. I'm not sure the proprietor would like you doing that to the stuff. He tends not to like it when I turn things upside down looking for things that the goddamn cat has stolen again. Apparently the cat doesn't steal them, but the cat definitely does steal them. And Peter gets very annoyed. I wish he'd just tell the cat to stop stealing my things.
He looks down, not seeming to have realized what she did, then suddenly looks very embarrassed. If that's all you needed, I'd ask you to leave, please.
I just had one last question. Who were you 5 months ago?
We're gonna leave this scene right there. That's a great moment to pivot. Don't forget that question. We'll come back to it later. But I'd like to follow Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Peter for a little bit. Peter, you mentioned you were going to ask maybe some war buddies? Who are you calling?
Yeah. So Peter's pretty high status in this event. He's got kind of almost an elder status. So whoever is the nearest elder to this patch is going to ask about the ghouls, specifically about the weather and the affecting the weather. He's expressly not going to mention anything about Chloe at all.
Okay. So you're asking around, are you making phone calls? You're sending emails, text messages? How are you doing this?
Phone calls, I think.
Calls? Okay.
I think that an elder is unlikely to be able to read a text message, but they might be able to pick up a phone.
He has an
What is this? I
old-timey
don't
phone.
understand. It is like a
What is-
typewriter, but on my hand, I don't get it.
And one-
Where is the carrier pigeon to carry letter? No, I digress.
It's one
So-
of those old-timey phones with a rotary dial.
So 100%.
You make a couple phone calls. Some people don't answer. People do. A lot of them don't really have anything to mention to you. But you get to one of your quote-unquote like squad mates, somebody that you worked with very closely. Haven't seen him in many years, but it's one of those people that, like an old friend you haven't seen in years, but you pick up the conversation right where it left off. He's happy to hear from you. Conversation goes back and forth, reminiscing. Oh, you've got a hotel now. That's great. I've got myself a castle. But hotel's kind of nice, right? I've actually got several castles here in England. Yeah, it's an international phone call. Luckily, you've got an international plan, so you're fine. Won't cost you too much. But you bring up this ghouls and weather. And the conversation's been very polite, joyful, even. A little formal, but still kind of brotherly. It's suddenly the tone completely shifts. Peter, did you say controlling the weather?
Yeah, I've got a pet blood mage. He scared him off. He said they would turn the weather cold.
How many of them were there?
He said 3.
How intense was the storm?
It was getting pretty heavy. I could feel it pretty far indoors.
Anything else strange happening? Visions, people forgetting, misplacing things, anything strange out of the ordinary?
Well, I've got, people misplacing shit, but nothing that's not been happening for the last 6 months.
He lets out a very, very heavy sigh.
Talk to me, Tony.
My friend, it is getting very early here. You have a fax number.
Of course, I've got a fax number.
I'm going to send you something. A few things. Make sure there is ink, paper. Roughly 20 pages worth. There are rumors amongst some of the elders of a bloodline thought lost to time. You, of course, are familiar with the story of Cain and Abel, are you not?
Yeah.
Some say that Cain killed Abel before he was able to propagate. But there are others that believe that Abel had a bloodline out of wedlock. I will send you the paperwork. Look into it. But these ghouls, these weather wizards, they seem to be linked to either protecting or seeking to root out this long-lost bloodline.
If I hear of it, I'll let you know.
Whatever this is, Peter, this is dangerous. We may be vampire, but we are not unkillable. Tread lightly. Be careful. Also, when you call him Tony, I really be like, "Hey, it's Tony here. How you doing? Hey, what are you doing? Hey, Peter, how the fuck you doing over there, man?" but that's fine. I wanted the different voice. But he wishes you well. And about 15 minutes later, you get a fax that comes through, and it's very like, I want you to imagine Spark Notes that are incomplete. So it's like, just like, hey, there's research here. We think we found somebody. This travels back to this time. This goes to here. This person was related to this one. There's a bunch of like random family trees, a lot of X's off. Some people got turned into vampires. Some people died. But what you realize as you're looking through these notes, and you can take as much time as you want, but as you're looking through these notes, Peter, you realize that this bloodline, this family tree, let's call it, it all goes down, it branches off, kind of does like it's almost like a inversed hourglass. So hourglass is wide at the top, it's narrow in the middle, and like this is like narrow at the top, it's wide in the middle, so it's like narrow, it's wide, and then narrows down. And the last family name, I bet you can guess. The last family
Is
name.
it Fairchild?
It's Fairchild. You're absolutely right. But there's a big question mark there because they don't know where they live. But Fairchild. So, interesting. Very,
So,
very interesting.
very interesting. He's going to call over to his scribe, who is very well versed in computers. And he's going to go, memorize this, start planting some fake shit. I want more heirs.
As you wish, master. How many should I make?
Enough to throw people off. Few different countries, maybe 10, 15 families.
How deep should I go? Social security numbers? Should there be passports? Or simple names? Registered voters?
And there's a chuckle from the ghoul. Like he's almost trying to make a joke.
Peter doesn't particularly kind of believe that this thing has a sense of humor or any sort of personality. He kind of like glosses past it and goes, I'll leave it in your hands.
And he will take the information. Now you want him to memorize it and then destroy it? Is that what you want him to do? Brilliant. He's going to memorize it, and in the background he's going to be working on creating a bunch of family trees that like branch off like 100 years ago and just everywhere, right?
Working away on Ancestry.com, yeah.
Yeah. How about Adam? Adam, where are you heading off to?
Currently Adam is going out of the building towards his car. While doing so, he, instead of messaging, he directly calls Gustav to sort of have his opinion about things and share some ideas with him about the ghouls more specifically.
So because remember everything's Nokia in our
Yeah.
game,
Fold your
right?
phone.
Everything's a Nokia.
Nokia
right?
flip.
Flip phone.
Okay.
Right, you remember, right? I didn't forget.
I remember.
The phone rings once, twice, 3 times, fourth, and it finally picks up. This is Gustav.
Hello, Gustav. Here's Adam.
Adam, my favorite child, all 30. How are you this beautiful evening morning?
Well, it could have been worse. I haven't sent you an email, but the shit has
Could
gone
have
down.
been worse. Adam, what have I told you about proper speech? Could have been worse. You have been in America for too long. You're starting to sound like the slovenly locals. I will ask
Okay.
you again, how are you this evening, my child?
Personally, well,
Good. What can I do for you? I was not
Well.
expecting to see or hear from you for several more days.
well, the situation has changed. We, I have told you before about those messages that I've been being given from that weird number.
Yes,
Apparently,
you
they
texted me
found
about
it.
them no more than an hour or so ago. Have you
Thank you.
received more?
Well, they found the place. Yes, 3 ghouls doing weather control magic apparently attacked the apartments.
Gustav scoffs at the mention of weather control magic. And this scoff, Adam, you know it well. It's the what you just said is bullshit. I'm gonna pretend that you didn't because it sounds ridiculous. He's gonna what and in sales we like to call ignore pivot, where he just ignores what you said and pivots to something else.
Yes.
If things are becoming too hot where you're at, what have I always taught you to do, Adam?
I do not remember, Gustav. I'm sorry. It has been a very hectic
There are
month,
two
night.
options when things become too hot. One of the only things we vampires fear is fire and the chosen. You are not being attacked by the chosen, but things are becoming hot. Where you see smoke, there is often fire. There are two options, Adam. Put the fire out, take control of it, and use it against your enemies.
I think putting out the fire would be better for this situation. I was about to go to tunnel to talk with. Who did you leave this time running the club?
Tiffany. Tiffany is running the club.
Miss Tiffany, huh? Okay.
She may be human, but she is smart, capable.
I can tell that much. There's also another piece of information. There is this place called the Underground Club here in Chicago. There's this child. She's strange, half human, half kindred smelling. Her blood is also weird.
Once again, Gustav lets out a sigh. Once again, Adam, what have I told you about being vague? You must be precise in your speech. Gather your thoughts.
Her blood has the taste of coffee.
What? It's like stoic anger goes to what? Coffee? What in the hell are you talking about?
That is what Mr. Theodore said when he he ingested some of her blood to attempt to identify it.
You may no longer directly be under my control, but I am going to ask you.
Yes.
Tell you. Look into this. I will be back in town in 3 days. Until then, be careful, child. Hate to lose.
Thanks, Gustav. And I sort of closed the phone.
Click. I like that.
Like, yeah. And as I'm getting into the car to drive, it is sort of to the north side of the Long Life Apartments, the club. It's 18, 17
as
minutes.
you go to get in your car, what kind of car do you drive?
Hold on, I have it here. Is this? No. Where the hell are you? Black Toyota Camry.
A
sort of
black
like
Toyota
that.
Camry, classic.
Yeah.
Good gas mileage. Very nice car. I love that journey
Yeah.
for you. That's beautiful. I'm gonna have you
Yeah.
make a quick check here. All right. I
Okay.
want you to make a quick check, and what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you roll a wits and investigation.
Oof. Okay.
Wits investigation. I would also allow wits and subterfuge.
Wits and investigation. That's my better one.
I only
I
need one
guess.
success.
Second attribute. Wits.
Not a difficult one.
What pool size modifier is there any to this
No.
one? Okay. And difficulty 1, 2?
1.
Okay, 1.
Oh! 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 That was close, big cat. scary. All
I'm
right.
so-
So you're walking up to your car, and as you get to your car, you notice that the little keyhole, as you look down at it, you go to put your key in, looks like it's been tampered with. And as you look down, you see what looks to be like a piece of metal kind of shining against one of the street lights. The ground is still damp from the rain. Look down, you notice that looks like one of the pieces of like a lockpicking set. Perhaps you lean down to pick it up, and as you lean down to pick it up, your eyes are drawn to underneath the car, where you see a foot-long, 6-inch wide brick of what looks like Semtex and a little red blinking light.
Is this your game now, Sir Kyla? Whatever. So it is C4. That's what it is, right?
It's high yield explosive. That is correct.
Yeah, it is C4.
Your
Okay.
car has been rigged to blow.
Great.
That's why when I saw that one success, I was like, "Oh, buddy, Adam might have
Nearly
needed a
died
new
right
character
there.
right away." I don't care you're a vampire. A C4 explosive on your car
Yeah,
will
it
fucking
would
kill you.
kill me. Okay.
Yikes.
Well. So I guess they thought about that before. They weren't just there to show off. I'm probably still gonna try to go, not with the car, obviously.
Yeah, I'm gonna still drive the car. Fuck it.
Baller.
This is not like the elevator. No.
Maybe you'll take the bus instead.
Yeah, the bus.
All right. So Adam will just leave his rigged to explode car there and just walk away from it. Love that journey.
Actually, no. Hold on. Before, would any of the other people like know that I have a car? Probably yes,
Everyone,
right?
yeah.
Just in case, I do a little note. Do not open.
Do not open.
Some poor bastard carjacker is gonna get gonna get some comeuppance.
Oh man, look at this sweet ass Toyota Camry. Ah, this is great. Boom. Honestly, you kind of ruined it in a funny way, because I was gonna say as you get on the bus, like 10 minutes later, you hear an explosion from the direction of your car.
I
But I
Gustav
digress.
paid a lot of money for that. So.
Yeah, that's all right. Let's pivot over to Theodore. Theodore, where are you heading off to, my dude?
Well, hoping to see the blood-drenched lady of his dreams. He's
Ooh.
wandering back to the back to the elevator.
Okay.
Catches. Oh no, he won't catch sight of himself in a reflection. Will he? Can I see myself in a mirror?
I don't know. Do you think you can or can't?
I don't think so.
There are certain vampires that think that the like certain vampiric things like that are real, and it's more a subconscious thing, a mental
Oh.
thing. But
Like-
you can't see yourself.
No, none of it's in my character sheet, but I'm slowly having more and more folkloric blocks. So I imagine I'm gonna have all the regular ones.
Perfect.
So
that.
yeah, he'll not catch sight of himself
Yeah.
and see how terrible
So
he
what's
looks.
interesting, Theodore, is normally you don't see yourself in the mirror, but as you step into the elevator, you do see yourself. Except it's not you as you are. It's you when you were like 20, 21. Young, virile, strong, just man about town. And you're
I
kind
am looking nice.
the elevator is a perfect place for self-reflection, as Quarter said. That's beautiful. 92. Love it. But as you're watching yourself in the mirror, you go to what floor?
Well, before I press any buttons, I'll give myself a big smile, run my tongue along my teeth.
No vampire teeth.
I'll get a lot closer to the mirror and start like poking at my face.
Nothing. You feel them, but you don't see them.
Can you flex teeth?
Yeah.
I can flex teeth.
Yeah.
That appears to
You
how the
feel
gate. I'll
them go
flex my
out.
teeth.
You feel them come in. You feel them go out, but you see nothing in the mirror other than you, kind of like pearly whites.
Very, very confusing. Ah well, and I'll be on the top floor at the moment, floor 14. I'll press ground then.
14, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. High or low?
Low.
Ooh. The elevator does that thing that you never want an elevator to do, where it shudders, scrapes, and comes to a sudden halt. All of the lights go out.
Perfect.
Lights come back on. There is not a woman of your dreams, standing behind you in the mirror. You see your reflection. There is instead a man. This man is.
Hang about, chap.
You spin about, you said?
I said hang about there, chap.
Hang about there, chap. I don't know what that means. It's a British.
Slow down. Be careful.
Ah, there it is. All right, hang about there, chap. I like that. Yeah, well, fair enough. Britishisms. You guys are crazy. Making up. Like you speak English, but not really. It's weird. I'm just kidding.
They're
I'm a
aliens
monster.
over there.
That's funny. You guys are beautiful. But you see a man. Standing behind you, and you notice that he has a what appears to be a gash along his neck. There is blood pooling down over his Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime, like 12-pack, coming down. He is wearing what appears to be like a fur kind of like shirt toga thing, right? And he's trying to staunch the bleeding, and he's just mouthing over and over like a fish out of water, like a over and over, like he is, and he looks shocked, confused. And as you're watching, you see that in the image of you, you see yourself holding a bloody bone dagger. And then you watch as you bring the dagger up again and then lunge towards him. Lights go down. Elevator shutters again. Lights come up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ding! As the door is open, there's a white floofy cat standing in front of the door. And it looks up to you and goes, meow.
Well, that isn't what I signed up for at all.
Meow.
I'll pick up the cat, gently, as I'm known to do. It annoys Bertie no end.
Cat is purring very loudly. Doing that thing cats do where they like rub against your hand, like as you're holding them, and it's just like, oh, I love this. Trying to crawl up on your shoulders. All about that life. I love it. Very good.
No.
Very good. Where else do you go, Theodore? Anywhere else?
Well, that's an end in that road, I suppose. I'll drop the cat down.
Runs off.
And the tablet is currently up in Peter's room, isn't it?
I think Adam takes it with
Yes,
him wherever he goes.
I
but you
always take it.
probably
with me,
leave it in the building? Question mark?
Have you taken it on public transport? Just
Feels like
pouring
a bad
blood.
idea.
I think I would
He's
have.
gonna get
Okay,
mugged on the
okay,
bus for his briefcase.
Yeah.
Turns out it's just a rock. The mugger's just like, fucking stupid rock. Steal this car instead.
No. I think at the
Boom.
moment he sees that there's a C4 attached to his fucking car, he would put the tablet in his room. At
Yeah,
least.
he's probably like a safe or something, right? Like a
Yeah,
gun safe or
exactly.
something. Yeah, tablet's in his
Yes.
gun safe.
Yes.
Correct. Love that.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't know that was there then. That was the next line of inquiry. I want to go taste taste some more blood and see if I can discern anything from the drippy
No,
tablet.
You're
But I'll have
insane.
to
But
wait
you want to
till,
drink some of the drippy tablet blood? You just want to make a new character, and I love that journey for you. I do. I really do. It's beautiful. All right. So we've got a couple of different things going on. We're going to now pivot back to Bertie. You've just asked this question, Bertie. Who were you for? She responds, adopted. My parents, well, I don't know, mom was a drug addict, I guess. She saw things, had visions all the time, terrible visions, and she used drugs to try and make them go away.
Bertie will raise his eyebrow. What kind of vision?
I don't know, my adopted parents, they just told me she was schizophrenic and that she saw things and talked to people, and they put me on a lot of drugs when I was younger because I used to see things too, right? And well, I guess that's the one good thing is ever since this happened, I stopped seeing things. So that's good, right? Very half-hearted smile.
Bertie will look back and not be smiling. What kind of things did you see?
If it's all the same to you, Bertie, I really prefer not to talk about it.
Okay.
Okay. I love Bertie.
Simple man.
And who are your adopted parents or your adoptive parents?
Adopted
Right.
parents, that's
Yeah.
right. They were just normal people, I guess.
And Fairchild is their surname.
No, it's mine. I don't know, I just felt like I wanted to take it. When I turned 18, I legally changed my name from O'Connor to Fairchild because I don't know. I didn't know her, but and she just kind of trails off. Doesn't really have an explanation for it.
Bertie will kind of start going backwards and forwards, and I'm kind of imagining that the kettle is one of those annoying kettles that you get in hotels that whistles at you.
Yeah, it's getting louder and
It just-
louder.
yeah, but he'll ignore that and just be kind of walking around and sort of waving a pencil. And going, so I'm assuming from this that you don't know your adoptive, your birth mother then.
I
But
looked.
Fairchild is her surname.
Yeah, I tried to find her, but she died a couple years back and shrugged.
He'll turn and kind of try to be sort of feign concern. Terribly sorry, terribly sorry. Well, I actually seem to be quite good at finding things, although not things that have been stolen by cats, apparently. Would you like to know more about your birth mother?
She squints her eyes at Bertie. How would we know more? She's dead. She took her own life. What more is there to know, Bertie?
The funny thing about people being dead is that everything that they did in their life still exists. And he'll kind of look at her with a hence you kind of look and see if she catches on.
He points to the kettle finally. You gonna get that? It's like
Yeah.
it's like the little like thing on top is like like making like a tinging noise, like a ting 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 ting, because it's so intense. Yeah.
He'll just move the kettle off and like stop it,
Yeah.
like stop it boiling, but not do anything with it.
Beautiful. You've
So
got, you've got my attention.
why don't we take a bit of a trip, see what stones we can't turn over and what things we can't find about. What was your mother's name?
She once again looks a little suspicious.
He'll place his hand on one of her hands that is on the countertop
Yeah.
and kind of pat it and go, it's fine. We can find out as much or as little as you want.
Her name was Velma. Velma Fairchild.
Well, why don't you and I go find out whatever we want to know about Velma Fairchild?
Let me ask the question you asked me. Who, what, when? How are we going to do that?
He'll tap the side of his nose with his pencil. Ah, that's for me to know and you to find out.
Let's wait till tomorrow night. I'm genuinely very tired.
He'll put his notebook and pen down and go, well, I suppose so, but would you mind if I did a little bit of digging just to start the trail off?
Knock yourself out, Birdie, but she chuckles. Watch out for cats.
I always do. He will then jauntily stroll off out of the door, while putting his notebook back in his pocket and heading upstairs.
She will close the door behind you. Lock it. Turn her music back on. No, I'm just kidding. That's terrible. Where do you head off to, Birdie?
He waits till the door closes, and then he will go back and he is going to use a free thing, a free power that he has called Silence of Death, which just dampens all of his sound unless you are specifically looking for him or he knocks over a chandelier or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he is just going to sit on the floor just outside her door with his notebook and pen out, or with his notebook and pencil, and sit on the floor and use Sense the Unseen and just wait to see if anything happens that is weird from inside that room. It's a wits and auspex versus a resolve plus auspex, if there is.
I'm going to give this to you. About 30 minutes into waiting, you see shadows. Shadows moving by themselves. And they creep under the door frame, through the keyhole, and they enter into a room. They look like shadowy spiders, shadowy centipedes, all manner of insects. And as that happens, a few moments later, you hear her start to mumble to herself from inside. She's having an argument with someone or something.
Can I discern any particular words of like what they're arguing about or who it might be that she's arguing with?
Sounds like an argument one might have with parent when they've done something they know was wrong and got caught.
Okay.
What you make out is, I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident. And then you hear her respond to herself, but you still killed me. How long do you stay, Birdie?
It's going to be at least like a couple of hours, or unless somebody notices him and questions why he's sitting outside.
No one
23.
questions Birdie doing anything weird, I think. He just does weird shit, right? Yeah. But that's the only really weird thing that happens. It only takes place over maybe about 5 minutes. The shadows never come in, more shadows never arrive, or come out, more shadows never arrive. That's where it's at.
Cool.
Peter, you had the conversations, got your ghoul doing what he's going to do. What's the battle plan?
So there are two competing kind of things in his head. One is Theo, who he needs to now work out what's happened to him. And two, Peter doesn't believe in all this kind of ancient bloodline bullshit.
It's all bullshit.
It's all bullshit. But other people do. And belief is very important and very powerful. So he wants to know who else knows, which again leads back to Theo, because the vampires who've got the most knowledge of anything in this city are going to be the Tremere with the local chantry. So he's gonna phone up Theo. He's gonna send him a text and say and tell him to come up to the office. Peter doesn't leave the office if he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
I'd like to imagine I received that text like just seconds after getting out of the lift at
Yes.
the ground floor.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, the text literally just says, Theo, I need to speak to you. Please come up whenever you can. And while I'm waiting, I will, with the confidence of an incredibly wealthy man, hire a next day cleaner to replace the floor.
Hey, this is Bloodstained Carpet Co. You bleed it, we replace it. How can I help you?
Yeah, it's Peter. I've been here.
Peter, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
Which
good,
one? We
good.
go with the Persian this time? How you doing, man? You know what? All I really need is you as a customer, and let me tell you, perfect, absolutely perfect. You love to see it. All right, we'll have a team over there in about 15 minutes.
Perfect. Thank you, mate.
I like that that's canon too. Is like you have like a speed dial, speed rotary, and you call and they know it's you, and they're like, as the usual, the special. Yeah, we got you, buddy.
Phone.
Peter's been in the city for like 50 years at this point. He knows everyone there is to know.
Oh,
Specifically when
man.
it comes to cleaning up crime scenes.
That is so beautiful. All right, Birdie, one thing I'm going to add for you really quick is there is one section where she is talking to herself and she says the following. Why are you so incandescent? And why is your face fallen? For whether you offer well or whether you do not, the tent flap sin crouches, and for you it is longing, but you will rule over it. And I will post that in the Discord for you guys. Under Steve's text thing. It's the most, I guess, clear thing that you hear her say to herself. Alright, so Theodore, you come up. Peter's room no longer has a body in it, but there's still a bunch of blood. It's just Peter in the room. Take the scene, gentlemen. Up to you.
You rang.
Right, yeah. I had the alchemist came to me with some interesting news. Come here, come closer. What does he smell like?
You know what he smells like? Kind of smells like a people.
gross.
Just a little bit. Yeah. Thank you very much, Soviet Menace, for the sub. I appreciate you.
I'm going to put the vial of the processed blood, of Theo's processed blood, coming in front of him, and go. We took this out you.
Mhm.
This is human blood.
Did you extract it from my stomach? That was in my veins.
And the scent of you. It's human.
I've been seeing a lot of weird shit recently as well. He'll pull his little ceremonial dagger out the top of his cane that he walks around with and just give himself a quick cut on his arm. And just watch it. See if it does
Bleed.
vampire stuff
You
or human
bleed.
stuff.
For a second, 2. Then it heals itself back up. But it hurt. It hurt a lot more than it normally does.
Well, that was inconclusive.
You know what sounds really good to you right now, Theodore? Coffee. Like an actual coffee. Like all this talk of coffee, like you just really want a coffee.
How are my teeth looking, Pete?
How are they?
I'll try and
Fangy.
flex them.
Fangy. Yeah.
Fucking normal.
As he's standing by you, though, Peter, you start to smell a little less human and a little bit more vampire. It's like 2080 right now. Like someone that hasn't showered in many days and threw on a bunch of Axe body spray. You can kind of still smell the BO underneath the Axe or underneath the body spray or the cologne. That's what it smells like. The vampire is the BO. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Stinky vampire.
He's a stinky vampire.
Something doesn't feel right.
Have you heard of anything like this before?
Heard of what? Vampires turning a little bit back into people?
Yeah.
It's preposterous. I've never heard such a ridiculous thing. I don't think.
That is a wax banana.
I'll stroke my chin briefly and have a really good think about it. Have I heard about anything like this before?
No. Not even close. Impossible. Not only impossible, improbable. Not only improbable, but like blasphemy, depending on what religion you adhere to. Like utter blasphemy. Like bad.
No, this sort of thing never happens. I'm not even sure myself what it is that's happening. You know, I've got a bloody reflection now.
That's not good.
No. More's the pity, it's not even bloody. When I drank Fairchild's blood earlier, I was in this dream state. And you know, are we all familiar with the ghost that lives in the lift?
Yeah,
that-
by this point, I
Is that a
think so.
thing? Do you know that ghost that lives in your lift?
I've heard complaints about it.
I swear to God, I swear to Mammon, it was her.
Hmm.
Do you remember when I told you just last night? In fact, earlier this night. So I'm just trying to get a lamp on because I've just realised I've gone completely black. There we go. I was telling you just earlier this night about that suspicious person that died here. Do you really remember nothing about that at all? The suspicious circumstances. Not too sure if the person themselves was suspicious. But I feel like she's trapped here. She said that I've become her now that I've tasted of her.
Whoa. Listen, I ain't complaining about it.
Ooh.
Fact is, you drank that blood and you collapsed into a frenzy. Whatever the fuck you think you saw in that frenzy is a hallucination, right?
You're a smarter man than that, Peter. You know these things can be visions. You know that Not everything is happenstance.
Listen, we've got bigger issues than your vision, if you want to call it that.
I do.
Listen, what I'm going to tell you is not as heresy, but what isn't these days. Have you ever heard of a third line of Abel?
No. No, there's no. There shouldn't be any lines of Abel.
Well, I my, back when I was a pack priest, not as far and all, good boy me. We knew there was some heretical shit in your chantry here in Chicago. We never got in. Any chance there'd be anything in there?
About a third line of Abel. Well, if there's knowledge anywhere, then we would certainly have it. It's been a long time since I've been back in the old chantry with the old Tremere clan, but I have missed it. I certainly still have people inside I could speak to.
Not about this.
So, quick little, not necessarily retcon, but a quick little mention. The idea is that, and this was my mistake.
Oh, sorry.
Abel did have 2 sons,
Mhm.
right? It is thought that those lines died off, right? So when I mentioned earlier that he didn't have any sons, I was mistaken. So I do apologize for that. That's on me.
Right.
Got my history a little wrong. So when you mentioned third, I was like, oh, you're right. He did have 2 sons. My biblical history is a little off sometimes, but no. So this is implying that there was a third line that survived. So you're
Yeah.
absolutely correct, Peter. Thank you for correcting me. Just quick little retcon. Thank you, gentlemen. Proceed.
Now this has to be you yourself. What I've told you, even this sort of question shit, doesn't leave you and me. I don't trust Adam with this shit. Bertie's gonna ask too many questions.
What sort of information are you hoping to find? Just where this bloodline's led?
No, because I know that bit. I want to know what it is, what the bloodline is, what it can do. Because our sweet Lady Fairchild, sources tell me, might be that.
That's what you think she is? Well, it's certainly something I've never encountered before. I'm gonna get a coffee, and then I'm gonna get Lady Gentile to call me a car. As soon as I find out anything, I'll be straight back on the phone to you.
Excellent. Thank you, Theo.
A pleasure, as always.
Theodore, we're gonna fast track forward. Find a late night coffee shop. You order a coffee, and as you order that coffee, you smell it, and it smells damn fucking good. Like, usually you smell it, and it's kind of like it's okay, it's not great, but you feel compelled to taste it. And as you do so, it tastes. It's probably the best damn coffee. It's like the first cup of coffee you've had in how many, 100 years? And it is
Yeah.
delicious. Drink it. Start to, like, glug it down. And it feels warm Feels good. You walk out of the coffee shop, you feel dandy. And about 2 minutes later, you vomit it everywhere. Everywhere. All over everything. It is like the Exorcist style vomiting, and it tastes horrible, and you feel sick to your stomach, and you now have 4 hunger because you are really hungry and you need some blood. All right?
God damn it!
We're gonna leave you alone there for a second, and I want to go over to Adam real quick. Adam, where were you heading off to? Are you muted?
Yeah. Oh no, were you talking about me?
Yes, Adam.
Okay, no.
The only Adam I know.
Someone came in and I had to talk to them. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I mean, I'm on the bus and I eventually do end up at the club, sort of around this part here. I don't. It looks similar to
So
it.
a little north, kind of really near the downtown, like the core heart of the city.
Yeah.
Where the
yeah,
club is
pretty
located.
much.
Okay.
Yes.
And who are you meeting with, and what is the plan here?
I want to mainly ask about the underground club from Tiffany. From
Relatively,
Mr.
so you do get a meeting with her. It's in the
Yes.
back room. She is human. She is a human that has been... who doesn't even realize she works for vampires. That's who she is. She just... they're weird, they're eclectic kind of thing. The owners, you, and she thinks of you as his son, and you kind of have like come and go as you please sometimes, but she'll answer your questions. And what she tells you about the underground club is that it sprung up maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, and it became very popular very quickly. But no one knows who owns it. No one knows who owns it. There is a name, and I believe Bertie has the name. There's 3 of them in the phone book. That's the guy that runs it, but no one actually knows who owns it. He's just the general manager, right?
Does she? Yeah. Does she
And-
have a location?
Absolutely. The underground club is located in Logan Square, just up
Ooh.
I-90. Not too far away.
Hmm.
Not too far away.
Interesting. Yeah. Now, I'm not gonna enter it, but I sort of want to get the general feel of the area. Sort of go alone, maybe. But just to scour the area, see how we could possibly maybe enter with the whole group at some point.
Yeah,
But 'cause,
so the underground club is built... so there's a warehouse that has a like a stairwell that goes into a basement. The warehouse itself is, it seems abandoned, like it's dilapidated and worn down, but they built underneath it, literally the underground club, and it's like a grunge, like punky, like they play death metal sometimes, but it's like a emo, leather pants, black eyeshadow, kind of looks like a vampire club. Like it's leaning into it, and like fucking goth people show up there like with like fake fangs and stuff like that. It's like a goth, like that's the feel that it's going for, and you get the impression, based on what the feel, it kind of reeks. It kind of reeks of Sabat. It kind of reeks of Sabat. I'm not gonna lie. Kind of
thank
does.
God it's not the other one.
Yeah, it
the
kind of
other
reeks of
type.
Sabat.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a thing that exists. A thing that exists. But as you are eyeballing it, you notice that there is this kind of wet dog smell in the air. Wet dog smell in the air, and it's relatively close by. What do you do?
A wet dog smell.
Wet dog smell. It smells like wet dog.
Where, from the club or from just
Nope. You're
another
like
direction?
you're across the way from the club. There's a little like tree, like half little park area, right? Lots of parks in Chicago, honestly.
Yeah.
Little park area. and you smell like two distinct, intense smells of wet dog.
Is this like, do I remember something about it from it, or is just literally just wet dog
Just
smell?
smells like wet dog. But all the hair on the back of your neck is standing up.
Oh, okay, I'm starting to get the picture now.
All right. I don't want to completely give it away. I wanted you to get there on your own, but
Okay,
Yeah.
I sort of freeze for a second and
okay.
I look to see what it is.
You turn around. From the darkness, you see two pairs of glowing yellow eyes. Hear a voice, deep, growling, and low.
You're out of your territory, Fanger.
Oh wait, no. Oh, it's some okay. It's not. Is it female?
It was a
The voice?
male voice,
Male. Okay.
and you're pretty sure it's a werewolf. And it just said to you, "You're out of your territory, Fanger."
Is that a racial slur?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Wow.
Game cancelled.
On
No.
Vampire Twitter.
Darewolf Den Gaming. Cancelled. 2023.
Okay.
Run,
I know
bitch.
that vampires are fucking tough shit. Now, would it technically follow me if I go into the club?
I mean, that's up to you, Adam. Whether or not you come out of the club, that's a whole other story. But you are welcome to do whatever you want to do, my man.
You know what? Between the werewolf and the club, I think I'm just gonna go with the club.
You go to the club?
Yes,
like it.
I do not want to fight the fucking werewolf.
I
Honestly,
love that journey for you as you're going to walk into the club. So
Yeah.
you go up to the club. There's a bouncer. He looks at you. He kind of like eyeballs you up and down. And opens the gate and lets you in.
Hmm.
We're ushered inside of
Okay.
the underground nightclub, Adam. That's where we're going to leave you. That's where we're going to leave you. That's where we're going to
Okay.
leave you. All right. And our final scene of today's session, we're going to leave this on a little bit of a cliffhanger, as often is my tradition. Our final scene of tonight's session is Bertie standing outside, sitting outside of the room. The elevator goes ding, the door opens, and out steps a white, floofy cat. And it looks at Bertie, and it says, "It's rude to spy on people." And it licks its paw and starts to clean its face. That'll be the end of today's session. There you go. Good job, everybody. What a time to
Spooky.
be alive. I am currently fighting a cold, so I do apologize, gentlemen, if I was a little low energy today. I still had a lot of fun. I hope you guys did as well.
That's alright, man.
Yeah.
You guys did awesome. That was really fun. And I apologize for, I don't know why, in my head I was like, oh yeah, Abel didn't have any kids. No, he had 4 kids. Each of his sons married the other's twin sister. Because, religion. So it's the whole thing. But yes, there was a third line. That's what I was going for, was the third line. Not no line, but third line. So thank you for correcting me, Peter.
I did just automatically fill that in my head as you were
Yeah.
saying it.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I just auto corrected it.
Yeah, no, which is brilliant, because that's what I was trying to go for. So I'm glad you went there. And then I was like, oh, I did say no line. That's fucked up. But no, it's good. It's all good. We still got to where we were trying to go, which is amazing. But as I always say at the end of every session, any final thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns before we get ready to wrap up this blood trail this evening?
Think-
I'm not 100% sure where it is I agreed to go. I just played along, pretending that I knew what the sort of place was to not break up the flow of the story and make my vampire sound like an idiot.
We can discuss that after I wrap this up. We'll make sure everyone's on the same
Sweet.
page, because I flubbed a little bit. I'm human. I apologize, but I think we're going somewhere cool. But I will say this: thank you to the viewers for viewing. Thank you so much to the players for playing. Happy gaming, everybody. We'll catch you guys next week. Same game time, same game place for session 3 of Vampire the Masquerade Out of the Darkness. In the meantime, be well, be safe, and we'll see you next time. Good night.